Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is August the 26th, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. This is part two of, the episode, I guess you could say, same day as the episode prior. So, we don't have to do any blogging, any extra. We can just go ahead and do our startup and let's get right into it. Right into the yap. The past 24-hour news cycle for me just was it was thick and fast. I just was boom, 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 boom. There's so many things. So I figured, hey, let's just go ahead and kind of cut the episode in half, and that'll be easier to kind of do. That being said, I still need to eat. I'm still very hungry. I did have a big ass Granny Smith apple though, so that was pretty indulgent. All right, from Reuters, Meta reaches $16.68 billion settlement over social media harms to children. So this was one of those trial things that I said was up in the air, and I wanted to wait for a verdict to talk about. So we got a settlement. So there we go. Meta Platforms agreed to pay a maximum $16.68 billion as part of a settlement to resolve claims brought by states across the country that the company designed Facebook and Instagram to addict children, misled consumers about their safety, and improperly collected personal data of children who used its platforms, court papers show. The settlement was reached during a California federal trial over claims brought by 29 states, averting one of the highest profile tests yet of allegations that social media companies harmed young users. Meta also agreed to make changes for teenage users of Facebook and Instagram nationwide, including daily use limits and nighttime blocks, court papers show. I would definitely say that those changes right there probably do amount to more damage, you could say, but at least maybe formative change. And maybe the most you're going to get out of something like this kind of deal. Saying it's hey, come the end of the night, you're not going to be able to just keep going on this app. You're not just going to be able to keep doom scrolling. So I can see that as a good thing. Also, the fact that it is limited to, essentially teen accounts. This isn't something we're doing as a whole ass retooling of the site. But granted, I'm sure there's going to be ways around that, via a VPN or I don't know, some other kind of way. I don't know. So I can see this kind of being a bit tinny or a bit weak for people who are saying no. There needs to be more change for sure. Let's see. Meta also agreed to make changes for teenage users of Facebook and Instagram Nation. Well, I already read that. My bad. The Menlo Park, California-based company denied wrongdoing in agreeing to settle, which I always love that they're able to fucking do that. Hey. So we're going to agree to pay you some fucking money. Also, it's worth noting too, I don't know if I'm going to get all the way down to it, but essentially what was being asked of them money-wise was $1.4 trillion. And essentially Facebook came out and was that's our whole net worth. If we had to pay for that, that amount, we would just be bankrupt. That would have been highly unlikely that the verdict would have, actually doled out that much. It would have been something substantial for sure. But I think that is why they said, hey, we'll give you, pretty much $17 billion and we'll make a little bit of changes on our app, our apps that we are probably essentially already going to make or, kind of inclined to make. But the fact that they're saying, hey, we didn't do anything wrong, I think is a big dodge for them, because when you go through this shit, when you see the emails and you see the communications where it's like you have people in the company saying what we are doing is toxic to children, like poisonous to children, like they're going to get on this shit and they cannot get off of it. It's not even a thing that we are assuming. We know, we've done the research. Like we need to do something, and essentially Facebook, Instagram, both said, oh, they stuck their fingers in their ears and said, we don't want to talk about this. Like the higher ups, like they walled themselves off from this kind of shit. They walled off other parts of their company, so they really wouldn't have to discuss this shit directly and do anything about it for a lot of the time. And then when it actually came to light, they're like, oh, okay, hey, whoa, we totally care about these kids. We're totally working on it. Chill. And I mean, I feel like that's why if you've heard any kind of random advertisement or seen it or seen changes while you're scrolling, I definitely have over the past like year or two, like Facebook is actually here to help children. Like, da. It's like, oh, okay, all right, sure, all right. But let's read a little bit more. Shares of Meta rose 4.4% in pre-market trading. So I guess essentially people coming out and seeing, hey, Facebook didn't get completely shellacked by this. The changes and the overhauls don't seem that major. These, Instagram, Facebook, Meta's going to keep on rolling, it seems. So okie dokie. The claims were part of a broader wave of litigation brought by states, local governments, school districts, and individuals alleging Meta and other social media companies fueled a nationwide youth mental crisis. And some might argue still are. The federal trial covered claims from California, Colorado, Kentucky, and New Jersey that Meta violated their state laws protecting consumers. It also covered claims from 29 states that Meta violated the federal Children's Online Privacy Protection Act by collecting personal data from users it knew were children without parental notification or consent, and using the data to train machine learning and generative AI models. So that's yucky. That's disgusting. I mean, and I think everyone kind of knew that the jig was up. I mean, we've talked about maybe we haven't. I'm sure maybe we did like a little bit. What is it, the Cambridge Analytica shit from way back? Our data shit is up to the highest bidder, and Facebook is definitely down to clown, down to collect that shit with a vacuum and disseminate it to whoever wants to buy it, which is gross and disgusting. But now we have the new dystopian, slant of like, hey, we are actually feeding all of this information, all of your kids' information potentially, and we're putting it in an AI model to make it like just better. Just know that whatever we're giving it, it's making it better. And it's like, brothers, that's fucked up. And sometimes they say, oh, we scrubbed it. We actually, we took all of the person, like bullshit. You put this data into this machine, and now it knows something that, I mean, you could definitely argue it just shouldn't. Why? I didn't give it permission to do that. And so, yuck, gross. Let's see. Meta has denied the allegations, saying it has worked hard to protect children on its platforms. The company had argued it could not have misled consumers about whether its services were addictive because social media addiction is not recognized psychiatric condition. Goddamn right, brother. You're goddamn right. I just think that's a fucked defense, by the way. I'm being sarcastic. In a filing before the trial, Meta said California, Colorado, Kentucky, and New Jersey were seeking up to $1.4 trillion in penalties. The states suggested before the trial began the figure would be closer to $200 billion. So they already knew that they were shooting for the moon. They wanted to put him in a fucking corner at the start, which is good tactic. The states were also seeking additional monetary damages, plus an order directing Meta to make major changes to its platform and to bar children from creating accounts. Meta, Snapchat, and its parent Snap, YouTube, and its parent Alphabet, and TikTok, and its parent, ByteDance, still face thousands of lawsuits in federal and state courts over claims they knowingly designed their platforms to have features that are addictive to children and teens, fueling a mental health crisis. So yeah, we're definitely not done with this, and I mean, there's definitely more to read for this article, but for the sake of time, we're going to go ahead and move along. But, interesting to talk about the data aspect of that Facebook Meta thing, because that bleeds right into what we're about to be talking about here from this Time article. Why Google bid $10 million for a failed airline's data. So when I initially read this headline, I thought that Google was getting involved and they were somehow going to like pull some kind of zombie resurrection thing with Spirit Airlines or something. And I was like, oh, that would be kind of interesting. Like, Google's going to get into like the, the airplane business or whatever. That could be neat, question mark. But no. I'm just a fucking dumbass. I just have a head full of fucking rocks. They just wanted the fucking carcass of this company in the sense of, we want to fucking put like a milkshake straw in your emails and stuff and your data, and we just suck it all up. What would a company like Google want with data from a failed airline? Google won a bankruptcy auction this month with a bid to spend $10 million on on the corporate data of Spirit Airlines, which stopped flying in May. Google's offer beats a $7.5 million bid for the data from an AI company, Mercer. We're going to say Mercor, sorry. The cache includes 100 million emails and 500 million Microsoft Teams messages and around 300 million lines of code. AI companies have been battling it out this year to make the best AI coding agent, and they have benefited from an abundance of publicly available code to train these models. But teaching agents to do other kinds of white-collar work may require data that is largely private, buried in corporate emails and charts. If that effort succeeds, it could send ripples across the labor market. Like, dude, okay, oh, spooky, it's coming to take us away. That's all one thing, but I find this shit so fucking bizarre, so weird, that, like, we have gotten to the point where, like, we are so all in on AI, and AI is so all in on itself that it's like, we need your data. We're willing to pay millions of dollars for your fucking old ass emails. Just so we can try to make our AI just a little bit more realistic, a little less synthetic, and we need a little bit more of that juicy little jargon that you got. You know, what was in those Slack messages or whatever the fuck? Let me at them. It's just so weird. It's so strange. And, like, I get it. I can understand the rationale. Like, this is going to make a better AI agent. I'm gonna put that in quotations, whatever. You know, like, and they talk about in this article, like, about how they teach it, like reinforced learning, which is a thing I keep hearing about. And I really feel like they keep wanting to, like, trot this, like, methodology out and, like how it works out, because once again, they wanted you to make it feel more, not even human-esque, but, like, more lifelike. And it's like, we give it a task, and it's based off of, and it wants to, like, fulfill this task because it's going to get a positive reward at the end. And it's like, motherfucker, this is not a dog. It's not a rat. It's not any kind of, like, pet or even a human that I feel like you were trying to make me feel like it is. It is just doing shit that you're asking it to do. It is just running the task down. Like, just stop. It's become so annoying to me to talk about AI, but I cannot not talk about it. All of our lives are kind of hinging on this shit kind of working, which sucks because it's probably not gonna fucking work. It's so stinky. It's so gross that, like, this is what we are doing with AI. This is the innovation, right? We're doing auction bids on emails. We are doing, and I'm going into the jungle now because I haven't really talked about the flock camera bullshit that is, like, now in, like, every street, town, whatever the fuck. So that cops can spy on their ex-girlfriends. I know I didn't cover any of those kind of stories, but I should have. There are definitely things that are fucking happening or have happened. But yeah, this makes me think about it just because I've been, obviously I'm driving home to and fro, and I notice now at, like, 2 spots where I live, they have flock cameras put up, and it's just like, this is just so fucking unnecessary. And I know the surveillance has been a thing. It's been a constant thing. Like, AI has not really reinvented the wheel here. But once it has become even more streamlined, and once again, to kind of bring that data point home, they are farming so much fucking asinine data that no one really consents to. But because in that situation it's public, they just kind of get away with that. And, like, you kind of just have to plead with your council and your local government or whatever to fucking say, hey, can, like, we get this shit out of here? There's no need for this shit. So yeah, I mean, that's where I guess the battle lines are with the fucking AI shit. I don't know right now, and that bothers me. It's this queasy inducing, but so it goes. I'm sure there's more we could pull from this article, but I kind of just, you're getting the Isaiah's way. I guess with the data shit, the harvesting, the privacy of it all, or the lack thereof, I think that that's something that might, wind up in the legal realm potentially. Google is saying, kind of getting back to the article, that they have scrubbed this data, so like no real personal information is actually going into this AI bot. I don't believe that, but I guess anything's possible. But it's all fucking concerning. It's all a bit spooky, eh? But yeah, let's go ahead and move on. I know I've been AI. Let's see. From Politico. Political newcomer Darlene Graham wins South Carolina's GOP Senate runoff. Senator Darlene Graham defeated Representative Ralph Norman in South Carolina's snap Senate GOP primary, a significant win for President Donald Trump after a string of his endorsed candidates stumbled in recent weeks. The president went to great lengths to get her over the finish line. He encouraged her to get into the race with his early endorsement, reiterated that support as she fumbled on the debate stage, and rallied for her in Myrtle Beach, a step that he hasn't taken for most of his preferred candidates this cycle. You kind of got like an older version of Trump where he was like really giving you the Trump bump. Like he's pushing for you. He's thumping for you. He's giving you PAC money. He's like opening the vault for her. Essentially $827,000. I think that was MAGA Incorporated, Trump's behemoth super PAC. And that was just like phone calls and shit like that because it was like so last minute. It's not like we could even like do any kind of ads or anything like that. But like, we want you to win, Darlene. We're pushing for you. He was rooting for her. Anyway, sorry. I wanted to bounce to the Slate article. I'll run the title real quick. Lindsey Graham's sister is running to replace him. She's a gaffe machine, which I would agree. I just wanted to read this quick aside. Darlene Graham, the appointed incumbent to the seat that opened up after the death of her brother Lindsey Graham, was asked a straightforward question. Are Taiwan and the South China Sea national security issues for the United States? And if so, why? Her response was jaw-dropping. I just wanted to be honest here. I'm not on national security, she replied. I'm not that informed on national security. Then after the pause, she added an inspired riff. But I do support the military. Graham went on to note that both her late brother and father served before reiterating, national security is not my thing, not my area of expertise. This is who South Carolina voted for, by the way. They heard that and they said, my God, she's just like her brother. But not even. He was all about that shit. He was stroking to that shit. It's crazy to just be, but you know what? It's crazy, but like, there's some kind of like honesty about that maybe people fucked with. But it's just, if I was just a normal, just Republican, I would be hearing this shit and going, so yeah, we're voting for the other guy, right? Because the other guy's like a normal person who is like an actual politician. But once again, Trump got to like do his superpower. He got to like use his ultimate, and like people are like, well, I'm voting for Trump. Like he literally said that at the rally. So like, all right, let's get her done. And they did. So cool, man. I mean, they were really into Lindsey Graham. He really did run that shit like the Navy. So, it was a cakewalk for him, and it was so much of a cakewalk that his sister got to just do it, just got to waltz all in there. And to that, we say, salute. I don't fucking know, man. I'm obviously not rooting for this person, but maybe the fix is in on that shit. Not fix, obviously. I'm not crying conspiracy or anything, but like maybe they are just gonna like put her in, and she's just gonna, be South Carolina's heir apparent in that regard. Good for her. Good thing her brother secured the bag for her. Anyway, let's move along. This is from NBC News. Judge allows Trump's mail-in ballots plan to proceed, at least for now. I needed to reheat this story. I needed to reheat these beans because I feel like I kind of fucked it up, and it's a bit of an update, so why not? A federal judge on Wednesday allowed President Donald Trump, at least temporarily, to move forward with his effort to exert federal control over mail-in ballots ahead of the midterm elections. Boston-based U.S. District Judge Indira Tawani lifted an injunction that applied nationwide after a Supreme Court decision favored Trump in a similar case Monday. But with litigation moving swiftly, there remains a strong chance that key aspects of Trump's mail-in ballots executive order will be blocked at some stage, possibly as soon as this week. The executive order directs the U.S. Postal Service to, among other things, track mail-in ballots and potentially reject those submitted by people not on a federal list of eligible voters. Multiple legal challenges to the proposal, which conflicts with the state's traditional role in administering elections, are pending. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of reiterate that. I feel like when I said it my way, it was just wrong. And it does look like this is going through, but hopefully it will be blocked. And I imagine that might be when I come back, or at least I mention this again. And hopefully it stays blocked, at least for the time being. I know that the USPS has said, hey, we are going to be compliant with this, but this just feels like more of what Trump wants, is to essentially make it just more difficult for the average person to vote. And it's like he's saying, oh, I'm doing this for the actual safety of it. So people who aren't supposed to be voting aren't voting, da 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 da. But it's no, they are trying to make this harder for you and me to just do the thing that we're supposed to do, our actual civic fucking duty, some people fucking say. And it's brother, just let me mail in my shit. Stop being weird. I will go vote. It doesn't make a fucking difference. You're just hindering the old fucking granny with the fucking MAGA hat on. You're shooting yourself in the fucking foot, John Kerry style. Just fucking let it happen. Stop being weird. But this is kind of a thing that is done on the right a lot, so it's not really surprising. Donald Trump is just, he's very tenacious about it. Anyway, there we go. We can move on. I feel like I corrected myself enough. Anyway, now we are moving on to the flowers portion. Unfortunately, we lost Dolly the other day. That's fucking crazy. That's a fucking bummer. And now Tim Curry, man, what the fuck? But yeah, let's go ahead and do our last break, and we will close it out there. I'm looking at a mosquito repellent thermocell. This is not sponsored, but it looks like a air fryer, which I find weird because it's a mosquito repellent. I imagine it's a smaller device, but whatever. Oh, and then now there's a new ad. Look at that. They got a roll and scroll there. Thank you, Yahoo. Ooh. Okay. From Yahoo Entertainment. Tim Curry of the Rocky Horror Picture Show and It fame dies at 80. Okay. Legendary actor and the Rocky Horror Picture Show star Tim Curry died on Tuesday night at the age of 80. Curry's longtime friend and manager, Marcia Hurwitz, confirmed to Yahoo that the actor passed away peacefully at his home in Toluca Lake, Los Angeles. A cause of death has not been disclosed. In 2012, the British actor suffered a stroke that left him partially paralyzed, and he had been dealing with serious health issues for more than a decade. According to TMZ, police responded to his home at 11:23 p.m. on Tuesday. There's no foul play suspected. Curry is best known for his wide range of comedic and often villainous roles, accompanied by his unmistakable rich theatrical laugh. He started his professional acting career in the late 1960s, shortly after graduating from the University of Birmingham in the UK. The actor told CBS's Sunday Morning last year that acting excited him because it was the freedom of being somebody else. Let's see here. We will read this portion. I'll skip ahead a little bit. Curry's first paid acting gig was a 1968 London production of Hair, where he met actor Richard O'Brien, who wrote the 1975 musical comedy The Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was then that Curry landed his breakout role as the corset and fishnet stocking wearing Dr. Frankenfurter, which later became a cult classic. He gave a lot of teenagers permission to be different, and I'm very happy that he did have that power, Curry told CBS, referring to the flamboyant character. I mean, that's like obviously one of his biggest roles. I know it's affected a lot of people, a lot of my friends, and I gotta be honest, I have not seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I know I need to fucking correct that. From every bit of it that I have seen from clips and bits, that I'm like, this looks like a fucking amazing movie. It looks like an amazing rockin' ass fucking musical. So I definitely do want to check it out. But it's interesting because I remember him just on so many little offhand roles. I know Home Alone 2. But then also the Wild Thornberrys, Nigel Thornberry, like that is just such an iconic figure, and he was just like that dad, and it's like, okay, hell yeah. I mean, there's obviously Clue. That's another big one. Three Musketeers, which that's definitely something for Kid Me. I never saw any of the Scary movies. Apparently, he was in Scary Movie too. But yeah, just an amazing role. And then obviously Stephen King's It. I didn't fuck with that shit. I'm not into scary movies. Y'all know that. But a very iconic role. Very iconic roles for a very legendary man. So yeah, definitely a huge loss. Like I said, back to back, that shit fucking sucks, man. But yeah, we're closing out on that note. Rest in peace, rest in power. But yeah, that'll be the episode. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/IsaiahNews. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube, follow on TikTok, follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. Leave a like, leave a cool comment. Sharing is always caring. All the stars are appreciated on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, but if you don't do that, that's all right. If you just wanted to like tune in and you just vibed out with me right now, you laughed, you cried, hell yeah, we did it then. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend, and hopefully I'll see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.